What if the most popular girl in school and the tattooed outcast were secretly more similar than we thought, and then they deliver on the romance we want? This is Horimiya. Meet Kyoko Hori, who on the surface is the school's popular girl. She is outgoing, smart, and energetic, but when the doors are closed, we see a different image of her, that notably her being a homebody, who is just as diligent to her housework as she is her studies. Then we have Izumi Miyamura, who at school is perceived as the gloomy otaku type. He is quiet and antisocial at school. Yet, when he leaves those doors, he's a completely different person. He has piercings and is bubbly. You can even see his face clearly. And then their out-of-school personalities meet. How, you may ask? I'll tell you. Miyamura encounters Hori's younger brother, Sota, who had a small accident outside. Then Miyamura proceeds to bring Sota to Hori's household, and that is the start to Miyamura visiting more often and the beginning of their relationship being built. Here's the thing that sets Horimiya apart from every other romance anime out there. They actually get together early, like within the first few episodes early. And I know that sounds like it would kill all the tension, but it genuinely doesn't, because now the show gets to do something most romance anime never get to really do, which is actually spend time developing the relationship itself rather than just the lead up to it. You get to see them figure each other out in real time. You see Miyamura become a regular presence at Hori's household, helping out, getting comfortable, and becoming someone her little brother looks up to. Then you see Hori letting her guard down in a way she really doesn't do with anyone else. And that dynamic is honestly so much more interesting to watch than two people dancing around their feelings for 12, 24, however many episodes. The show earns the relationship, and then it actually does something with it, which should be the standard, but somehow isn't. The supporting cast is another thing I want to give credit to, because they're genuinely just so good. Ishikawa has this whole arc dealing with his own feelings for Hori that could have easily just been played for cheap drama between Miyamura and him. Yoshikawa is great. Sengoku and Remy have their own things that they go through together. It's funny, surprisingly sweet, and there's a lot to develop there. These characters feel like actual people in the story, rather than just props to create obstacles for the main characters. But the thing that really stuck with me, the thing I was not fully prepared for, is Miyamura's backstory. The show slowly reveals that back in middle school, Miyamura was bullied severely. And during that period, he started giving himself piercings with a safety pin, and it's framed not as something edgy or cool, but as something a lonely kid did. The show even hints at something much darker. It doesn't just spell it out or make big moments out of it. It just lets it sit there and brew with restraint so unique it's admirable. On the surface, Horimiya is a romance anime, but the more you watch it, the more you realize it's about something a little deeper than that. At its core, it's about the distance between who you show the world and who you actually are when nobody is watching. Both Hori and Miyamura have been maintaining these public versions of themselves for oh so long that it is almost by second nature when the show starts. Hori is the girl everyone wants to be around, but at home, she's just a tired teenager who's trying to hold things together. Then we have Miyamura, who is invisible at school, but outside of it, he's actually got this whole personality that nobody has ever bothered looking for. And finding someone who sees past the version of you that performs every day, for Miyamura especially, there's this really layered thread about belonging that runs through the whole series. This is basically a guy who went through his whole childhood alone, not with a sense of belonging, and then we slowly watch him settle into a group of people who actually like having his company. This is one of those things that gets to you without really noticing, until it already has. There's a warmth to those scenes that feels earned, because you understand what it means for him especially. This show also has this honest relationship with growing up that I don't think a lot of people are able to connect with. Characters don't just stay the same. They change, they figure things out. Sometimes they don't handle things perfectly, and that's what makes it okay. It doesn't wrap everything up in a neat little bow and tell you that love fixes everything. It's more like, here are these people, here's their lives, here's them trying to be better. And that's that. What I appreciate the most, though, is the way it manages to carry all of that emotional weight without ever tipping over into being heavy, melodramatic. It's just genuinely warm. Not the kind of warm that makes it feel manufactured. It earns every feeling that it asks you to deliver on. Alright, with all that being said, is it a perfect show? In my opinion, yeah, but objectively, not quite. And I think it's worth being honest about that. The biggest issue that objectively I can see, and you'll hear it from a lot of people who read the manga, is that the anime moves extremely fast. Like, noticeably fast in some of these stretches. There's a lot of content in the original source material and the adaptation that are not concurrent. And the adaptation's choices about what to skip is very frustrating. Like certain side character storylines, they get cut down severely. They get set up really well and then kind of just get like a dead end when there is much more to the character, right? You get enough to care about like what's happening, but not quite enough to feel like satisfied. And that's a tough spot to leave an audience who is truly in love with a series, right? The tone is something worth mentioning. It's just around quite a bit. One minute, you're getting hit in the feels, hearing about Miyamoto's backstory. The next, you're laughing and joking. It's kind of off-putting at times. The way it switches from doom and gloom to happy, or from happy to mad. These feelings are so different, and the way it jumps around can be jarring, right? All that within season 1. I do believe the missing pieces that came out in 2023 adds a crazy level of depth to this story, but I definitely think that there's still places that aren't fully fulfilled. And I think you should watch it. Keep in mind that the first season doesn't have as much depth as the manga would, and also you're gonna have to follow that up with the missing pieces to get so much more of that story. So here's where I land on it, right? Horimiya genuinely is one of, if not the best romance series of all time. I don't think that's a hot take, right? I mean, I see so many people, it's in their top 5, top 3. I know people who they view it as the best romance series they have ever consumed. I even read the first chapter of the top 10 best-selling romance series, and this landed at the top for me. Just because it's in the best-selling course doesn't mean it's in the best, but there's something there that is clearly emotional, and there's clearly so many people that view this with a great deal of passion. If you already are into this genre and you care about this, and you have not seen this series, you need to go watch it. You need to consume it. It is something that will change your perspective on the whole romance and slice of life genre. Look, I really think, especially if you're into series like Toradora, Kaguya-sama, this takes those. It takes the elements from Toradora. It makes it less snappy, less bitey. It takes Kaguya-sama. It takes all the strategy and that slice of life perfection that Love is War has, right? And it's not going to hit you the same way those shows are, but it does something that those shows don't. It grounds it in such a different way. You feel so grounded with the characters. Look, that's just my perspective though. I truly believe you should read this, watch it, whatever you do, right? Can't make you do it, but I think you should. If you like the video, please like, subscribe. Just let me know what you want to see in the future. Let me know if you want to see more content like this or more IRL content. Peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one. I appreciate it.